The amazing thing about this length is that they're still long. My locks, essentially, they've been cut mad short. As you can see, if I take them out here, I have a complete new length, a complete shorter length. Finally, I have trimmed off all my locks to be roughly down to my pectoral muscle. Now, this was a change in the making. I've announced it a few years ago that I wanted to do this, and it just so happens to be the time, as is right now, for it to make that happen. I guess I get days when, you know, I feel like it's time to trim off another lock or two here or there. And I've been doing this over the past 3 years to get to this point. And I'm happy. I'm happy with where they're at. I'm happy having less length. I'm happy feeling much lighter. This allows me to be a lot more vigilant in cleaning my locks as well. I'm able to wash them more often. Every week, every other week, every 3 weeks, opposed to every 3 months. I was doing with the long locks because they're just so long and they take so much time to dry and wash thoroughly, which is pretty much, you know, one of the biggest downfalls of having super long locks is managing washing and drying them. Another downfall of having super long locks is just having them in the way all the time. They become quite an irritant and they almost become controlling of my life at that point, because I have to think about, is my hair gonna catch in this scenario? Is it gonna rub on the ground? Is it gonna drop in my food? Is it gonna sweep up dirt from the ground? Is it gonna touch the toilet bowl? Like, is it gonna be caught in the door frame of the car when I get out? Is it gonna be caught behind my back or my knee when I'm kneeling down? Like, there's all these little things I gotta think about. Is wearing my hair up on my head in a hat all day gonna give me a headache? Which oftentimes it did. So at this point in my life, my locks were controlling me in certain aspects, and it's important to remember that we control our locks. Our locks don't control us. It's like, I own my locks don't own me. And at the same time, you know, having long locks gets hard to cut them down or trim them, because I feel like I kind of owe something to the internet community, the dreadhead community online, for no reason at all. I mean, I don't actually owe you guys anything in terms of keeping my hair at a certain length. So I don't know why that feeling is persistent within myself. I wouldn't say it's overwhelming, but it is there. You know, it definitely, I think about that. And then I realize, you know, well, I'm in control of my locks and I need to adjust them to suit my lifestyle, right? The amazing thing about this length is that they're still long. To me, they feel short because I haven't had my hair this short in a long time. But when I look back at the footage and the photos, there's nothing short about these locks. They still have a lot of length, more length than what most people have here on the community. And it's actually cool to see that a lot of the people in Knot Nation, I have identical length to them now. So among the reasons that I have previously stated why I trim my locks, there's also one more reason. I think it's probably one of the biggest factors on why I'm feeling so much lighter and happier and, I don't know, freer. There was some buildup in some of my locks. Now, the buildup that was there, it was not mold. It was not green or smelly. It did not resemble anything like fluffy. It wasn't mold. But what it was sebum buildup. And I was watching a video on TP Locs channel. He has a dreadlock ASMR video up, and it's him scratching off a bunch of dandruff from his head. And essentially this was the same buildup that TP had that I have in my locks. And it's a natural occurrence. It's essentially just dry skin coming off from the scalp, getting caught in the new growth of my locks, and just not having anywhere for it to really escape to. Because once it starts to build up like that, the flakes in the locks, it is kind of hard to get it out of the lock without really dissecting the lock or combing it out, you know. So I ended up just kind of living with it in there. I knew it was there, but I just felt like there wasn't much I could do about it. But now that my locks are shorter, I'm able to tackle them a lot better when it comes to washing, rinsing, detoxing. So I'm hoping that moving forward, to ease the amount of dreadlock dandruff flaking off into my new growth, I can combat this with just more vigilant washing.